tuned in to News and Views with myself, Salailo Makudi. Our time is 9:39 Central African time. And we're going to be switching gears now and continue with spotlighting the African continent. And this time around, we'll be heading to the north of the continent, Tunisia to be specific, where a Tunisian court has sentenced prominent opposition figure and Ennahda leader Rached Ghannouchi to life imprisonment in a ruling that also handed lengthy prison terms to dozens of other defendants in a sweeping quote-unquote terrorism-related case. The verdict delivered at the Tunis Court of First Instance includes an additional 30-year sentence on terrorism charges, bringing Ghannouchi's cumulative punishment to 106 years. The court found 35 individuals guilty on charges linked to the alleged formation and operation of a secret apparatus within the Ennahda movement. Prosecutors argued that the network functioned illegally and constituted a terrorist organization. And this is all happening while defendants themselves were convicted under Tunisia's counterterrorism legislation. The ruling also handed severe sentences to other senior political figures, including former Prime Minister Ali Larad, who received 42 years, and Mustafa Khadr, who was sentenced to 96 years in prison. Several others received life sentences with additional decades added for related charges. Ghannouchi, who's 84 years of age, has been in detention since around April of 2023, and he also previously served as Speaker of Parliament before President Kais Saied dissolved the legislature back in 2021 and consolidated executive power in a move that critics described as a constitutional rupture. Tunisia, once viewed as the only democratic success story, this was after the 20th Arab Spring, has seen mounting concerns over shrinking political freedoms under this new administration. The government maintains that the trials are part of lawful counterterrorism effort. However, critics argue that the case represents a broader political crackdown on opposition political party violent voices, and it has become a really concerning state of affairs. And we're going to be unpacking all of it and the implications of this landmark ruling, and we're going to be doing that with former ambassador to Syria, Libya, and Saudi Arabia, Mr. Mohammed Dangor, who's joining us via telephone. Assalamu alaikum, Mr. Dangor. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to News and Views.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I would like us to jump right into it, the conversation. First and foremost, your reaction. What do you make of these developments, and how significant would you say they are in the context of Tunisia's political trajectory since the Arab Spring?
Well, Arab Spring is a misnomer. I think it became an Arab winter. It started off in Tunisia with a person whose possessions were confiscated by the state, being repossessed, and he then burnt himself. And this started off a movement that, as somebody's trying to gas on me on the phone, a movement that brought about the change in Tunisia. The former president of Tunisia ran away, still lives in Saudi Arabia, and was given refuge in Saudi Arabia. There was a moment, I think, at that particular point in time when people saw hope in Tunisia, in that there were parliamentary elections. The Ennahda party had come in and were pronouncing a very peaceful process of change. And I remember Rached Ghannouchi, in fact, coming to Libya and into Egypt and advising the people who were part of similar movements to be all inclusive and not to exclude anybody in the process. And I think that kind of advice was good for Tunisia. It is It was good for Libya, people didn't listen. And I think it was good for Egypt. Otherwise, you wouldn't have had the overthrow of Morsi.
Mm.
Now, the extension of these sentences means he's over 80 already, that he is going to die. This is the intention. The intent is nothing else. His influence throughout the region is a great influence. And others, like say the Farjani, who is also influenced, a tremendous influence within the region.
Mm.
But what this particular government is doing now is locking up people for political reasons, and the trials are sham trials. I've been in Tunisia. I've walked the streets when I came from Libya, and that is the situation at the moment.
Mm.
The appeal is from me and from a group of Africans and South Africans is for the Tunisian government to listen, to release Rached Ghannouchi and other prisoners, to bring about a situation of reconciliation where they can talk and sort the problems out between themselves.
Mm.
But Ghannouchi was not the favorite of the imperialist forces. And it was, I think, at the demand of the imperialist forces that he was removed. They were part of the parliament. He was speaker of the parliament, and it was the company. The country was beginning to function. The country was beginning to show green shoots economically, politically, within the parliamentary system, within the judiciary, and throughout that kind of society. What you have now is an era of suppression,
Mm.
an era of oppression, and an era of deniability, which is in fact very dangerous.
Mm.
This was what was called the beginning of the Arab Spring, which in my mind, having lived in that region, became the Arab Winter, because it was taken over by the agents of the West seeking the domination of the West. But also in doing so, it divided countries already divided into further divisions.
Mm, 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 mm. I think very, very important to note the point that you're making. I want to stay on Rached Ghannouchi because he's been sentenced to life plus other additional decades to his sentencing. What message do you think this sends to other oppositional movements in Tunisia and beyond within the North African region?
There is no opposition in Tunisia. So it's all been banned and suppressed. In Libya is divided, three governments, 14 militias, and the militias. A country with rich resources. I served there, so I know.
Mm.
Extremely rich. It had the highest GDP in Africa and possibly the highest GDP in the world at the time. It is now from a country that used to welcome people, now a country that allows people to go into slavery. It was the freedom that the Western province promised the people of Libya when they tried to throw over Gaddafi. In Egypt, you now have a situation where the army is taken over again. Of course, they had elections in the process. But of course, those elections are questionable.
Mm.
So that region, except for Algeria, which still maintains a revolutionary spirit, the rest have become a position where the society is divided by language, by tribe, and I see that unless something happens dramatically, that failed states will be there within North Africa. But similarly, they're trying to promote this within the rest of Africa and the rest of the Middle East. It's failed states, divided states, with rich resources that will be taken away. Look at our own country, and you look at the Israeli Haaretz publication saying that they want to balkanize South Africa. So I think we need to be vigilant. We need to be very vigilant. But my appeal, and the appeal of like-minded people in South Africa, is for the release of Sheikh Rached Ghannouchi and for others that are imprisoned in Tunisia, in Africa, and in the world. This kind of arbitrary detention is punishment, is stopping development, and it is curtailing democracy.
Former Ambassador, I want us to take a quick break, but when we come back, I want to focus, the spotlight on the incumbent President Kais Saied, and his consolidation and rise to power and what he represents, to Tunisia at this current moment. But we'll touch on that after this short break.
Thank you.
Shimmer, sparkle, captivate. Nothing less than a masterpiece. Droplets of gold inspires precious design. Platinum bursts with intricate freshness. And every pure diamond becomes more than just a girl's best friend. Voda Gold Gem Jewelers, where timeless dreams become a reality. Come to us. We tailor-make designer gold, platinum, and diamond jewelry. Trade in or remodel your old gold. Clad yourself with classy name-branded watches. We offer insurance valuation and freezer card calculation. Visit us at 534 Ridge Road, Overport, or call 031 208 9142. Voda Gold Gem Jewelers, manufacturers of fine gold and diamond jewelry.
Discover the Africa of your dreams and surround yourself with her spectacular beauty. Relax beneath her serene sunsets and explore wildlife at its natural best. It's where the pride of Africa comes together. The Kwantu Private Game Reserve. Get to know the Big Five or cruise on an elephant safari game drive. Interact with lion and tiger cubs and enjoy world-class halal cuisine while we pamper you during your 5-star stay. Indulge in the true African experience. For reservations, call now on 042 203 1400 or visit kwantu.co.za. The Kwantu Private Game Reserve, the place of gathering.
When the perfect blend of stylish decor, exquisite halal cuisine, and warm hospitality come together, it could only mean Al Bayt Lodge, your true home away from home. Al Bayt is the ideal heaven for families, business people, and tourists with its 4-star family rooms and other luxurious facilities. Conveniently situated close to Port Elizabeth Airport, the beach, and other amenities, your stay will be truly unforgettable as you'll be taking home lasting memories of the warm hospitality, the serenity and tranquility that Al Bayt has to offer. For reservations, call 041 583 6415 or visit www.albaytlodge.co.za.
Africa. Give the gift of clean water with Africa Muslims Agency. With every water well or borehole you donate, your drop becomes a river, reconnecting communities to nourishment, education, dignity and empowerment. Sponsor a water well for 17,000 Rand in Africa or a borehole for 65,000 Rand in Afghanistan or Africa. Quench the thirst. Reconnect the soul with Africa Muslims Agency.
At Dynasty Islamic, we believe your financial future should grow with purpose and in line with your values. We specialize in Sharia-compliant financial solutions designed to protect, grow, and preserve your wealth. Whether it's investment planning, risk cover, or structuring your legacy, our approach is rooted in transparency, integrity, and ethical principles. Too often, people invest without knowing if their money aligns with their beliefs. At Dynasty Islamic, we change that, offering you clarity, confidence, and peace of mind. Let us help you build a future that's not only financially secure, but spiritually aligned. Dynasty Islamic, where your wealth meets your values. Get in touch with us at info@dynastyislamicfas.co.za, visit www.dynastyislamic.com, or find us on Facebook and Instagram.
Rejuvenating media day by day. This is Salam Media.
Welcome back. You're still listening to News and Views with myself, Salailo Makwidi. Our time is 9:55 Central African Time, and we're still in conversation with former ambassador to Syria, Libya, and Saudi Arabia, former ambassador Mohammed Dangor, and we're having a conversation around Tunisia, which remains in the spotlight. And before you went into that short break, former ambassador, thank you so much for staying with us. I wanted to chat briefly about the president, Kais Saied. What do you make of his turn now? What do you think he represents in Tunisian history at this current moment? And his consolidation of power, if I can put it that way.
I think all the parties, when they were looking at the divisions within Tunisia, decided that they would vote for one person, and they voted for, I don't even want to say his name. They voted for the president of Tunisia presently. He then went on, he disbanded parliament. He disbanded the judiciary. And he had, subsequent to that, jailed people. Jailed people to silence any opposition to what he was going to do. Clearly, in my mind, and I'm not sure if it's in everybody else's mind, he was doing the bidding of the imperialists and Western powers that did not want an influence, such as Ghannouchi in the world, because Ghannouchi brought about a different kind of spirit, a spirit of democracy, a spirit of peace, and a spirit of reconciliation, which influenced the entire region. I think that's an important issue to note. And before we lose track of this, in South Africa, there was going to be a webinar on the 16th of June, where the webinar will be led by the Reverend Frank Chikani. Naim Jina will be there, and Sheikh Ghannouchi's daughter will be on the webinar. And I think people should tune into that, because it will give content and substance from an African perspective to free an African leader from African imprisonment within an African situation. And at times, Tunisia doesn't consider itself as part of Africa, and at times it does. European influence is extremely strong. French influence is extremely strong. So what we're looking at here is a geopolitical situation where the former colonialists are re-entering Africa by different means and different ways. And we must be vigilant in South Africa that this does not happen yet. If I see the marches on the street, that is not going in a democratic fashion, that in fact is unconstitutional. If it is looked at properly, then we need to be vigilant in South Africa that this does not happen to us.
And for organizations like the AU, what kind of call for action is this moment for them? Are they still the relevant institutions that you can call on to try and influence these kinds of situations, or these kinds of actions by countries like Tunisia at this current point?
As activists, within South Africa and activists within Africa will push our own state to move in that direction at the AU. The AU needs pushing in that particular direction, and it has to be put onto the agenda so it can become an issue for Africa to look at. The family of Sheikh Rached Ghannouchi, I think, is intending to take this to the African Court of Justice to deal with the matter, which is part of the AU. And I think that's an important step that they need to take, because this means also for Africa that it is important that we look at the resolution of African challenges with African solutions. That is important. But within our own country, even movements that were strong on the Sahrawi thing with Morocco have changed their stance. I don't understand why. But I will find out, and then we will soon find out as to why people have changed their stance on Sahrawi, which is the Morocco occupation of that particular area. So that is all part of the geopolitical thing. It is not only a Tunisian thing. It is geopolitics at play in Africa and in the world.
No, most definitely. Former Ambassador, we're going to leave it here for now. Thank you so much for giving us your time. Really, really appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
There you go. That was former Ambassador Mohammed Dangor, South Africa's former ambassador to Syria, Libya, and Saudi Arabia, unpacking the implications of a landmark ruling in Tunisia, where opposition leader Rached Ghannouchi has been sentenced to life imprisonment. This is alongside dozens of other political figures within the country that have been handed hefty sentences. And we are going to be living here for now. We're going to be wrapping up the show with that case, which continues to spark a lot of debate over the balance between national security and political freedom. Spotlight must continue being on Tunisia. Before we leave, I'd like to make an announcement. The annual Soweto Walk for Gaza is back. You should join us for a solidarity walk in Soweto from Regina Mundi Church to the Soweto Mosque. The walk is happening on the 20th of June 2026 and starts at 7:30 in the morning. As you heard there, it will be starting from Regina Mundi Church and will be ending at the Soweto Mosque. This is Salam Media's annual Soweto Walk for Gaza. We had a really, really successful one last year, and I'm sure you don't want to miss this one. And if you have any questions, you want to be a part of it, you want to inquire about how you can get involved, you can do so by sending us a WhatsApp message on 061-766-0355. With that, we've come to the end of today's show. I'll be back with you again tomorrow for the Wednesday edition of News and Views. Tuesday mid-morning with Julie Ali follows after this. It's going to be another insightful show that you don't want to miss. Otherwise, from myself, Salal, and the rest of the team, it's bye for now. Sharp.
Soweto, it's time to stand together for justice, peace, and solidarity. Join us for the annual Soweto Walk for Gaza, taking place on Saturday, the 20th of June at 7:30 a.m. The walk will begin at the historic Regina Mundi Church and proceed to the monumentous Dlamini Mosque, bringing together people of all faiths, backgrounds, and communities in a powerful show of unity and support. Bring your family, friends, and fellow residents as we walk together for a common cause. Let your voice be heard and your presence counted. That's the annual Soweto Walk for Gaza, Saturday, the 20th of June at 7:30 in the morning, starting at Regina Mundi Church and ending at Dlamini Mosque. Together we walk, together we stand, together we show solidarity.